Patrick Mahomes Sr. is currently stuck behind bars in Texas with zero exit strategy. The prosecution originally floated 10 years, but now the NFL superstar's dad might be facing the music for real. It was that ankle bracelet that snitched on him, and the data it spilled was absolute dynamite. Busted again, and this time that 10-year threat is looming large. On Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, the 55-year-old former big leaguer and father to Chiefs icon Patrick Mahomes II walked into a standard probation meeting in Tyler, Texas, but he never walked back out. The authorities already had a warrant ready to rock, so when Mahomes Sr. strolled in expecting a routine check-in, they cuffed him on the spot and booked him straight into Smith County Jail. Now, here is the part that twists this whole mess into some sort of dark, cosmic irony. That arrest went down on the exact same date, February 3rd, literally 2 years to the day since his last DWI bust back in 2024. You seriously could not script that kind of timing if you tried. Jump ahead to this February. The reason he is locked up tight with no release date in sight boils down to one piece of tech strapped to his leg, a SCRAM alcohol monitoring bracelet. He had to wear that gadget as part of the heavy-duty probation deal he cut in September of 2024 after pleading guilty to a third-degree felony DWI, his third strike or worse. The rules of that probation were black and white with zero wiggle room. Absolutely no drinking, period. Not a drop, not a sip, nothing. But then on January 1st, 2026 New Year's Day, naturally, that ankle monitor pinged a high alcohol reading, allegedly clocking a transdermal concentration of 0.045%. His probation officer got the red flag on January 5th, and while Mahomes Sr. handed over urine samples on the 5th and 9th that reportedly tested clean, it might have been too little, too late. The damage was done the second that sensor spiked. And it gets worse. Prosecutors claim he also blew off his community service, specifically missing his mandatory 3 hours a month for several months running. So we are not talking about one slip-up on New Year's Eve. The DA is painting a picture of a guy who just won't follow the rules, and they are using that to drop the hammer. And make no mistake, the consequences are brutal. Smith County District Attorney Jacob Putman and his crew are playing for keeps. They are going full throttle to scrap his probation entirely and want him to serve the max 10 years in state prison for that original 2024 felony conviction. If they pull that off, the guy who pitched in the majors and raised an NFL legend could be staring at prison walls for the next 10 years. The judge has him held without bond until his court date on March 9, 2026, in front of Judge Kerry Russell in the 7th District Court, where he will finally get his shot to fight back. Until then, he is staying put. This is a guy who swore he would keep his nose clean, but apparently, the Super Bowl hype was just too much to handle. Now y'all do not want me to do all that again. No, but how? How excited? I got a special blend. I am very excited, man. I mean, going back to another Super Bowl, is more than anybody could even imagine. Since news broke about him being back in the clink, the public vibe has been a mix of total letdown, annoyance, and real worry for the Mahomes crew. Social media absolutely blew up with hot takes from every corner of the internet. A ton of people feel terrible for Patrick Mahomes II, realizing how draining it must be to lead a team during the playoffs while your dad is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Others have zero sympathy for the dad, pointing out his long track record of booze-related screw-ups and demanding he finally do real time. You saw comments flooding the threads like, "Lock him up for real before he actually hurts somebody." Then you had the crowd asking why this is even a headline, dropping comments like, "This is sad, but why is it news? Let them handle it privately." It shows a huge split between people wanting public accountability and those who think we are invading a family's nightmare. As for the quarterback himself, the 3-time ring winner has stuck to his usual playbook, total silence. As of early February 2026, Mahomes hasn't said a peep publicly about his old man's latest arrest or the probation drama. I think just knowing that it hurt me woke him up to know that, you cannot keep doing the same things. I called him, right after, and I told him, I said, "I am sorry. I am sorry that it has taken away from your time and focus." He has always been super guarded about his dad's legal issues, and this time is no exception. The last time he really opened up was back in August of 2025 on ESPN's Chiefs Kingdom docuseries, talking about the 2024 arrest. He admitted that fielding questions about his dad while prepping for the Super Bowl was a nightmare, and he mentioned his dad realized how much pain he caused. Those words hit different now, given what just went down. But let's be real, this arrest did not come out of nowhere. It is just the latest scene in a long, messy saga of alcohol offenses going back years. Mahomes Sr.'s first DWI on the record was back in 2018 in Texas, which they actually filed as his second offense. He pled guilty and got 40 days in jail in 2019, serving it on weekends over a year from February 2019 to February 2020 to work around his schedule. That should have been the wake-up call. But clearly, it did not stick. Then came February 3, 2024, just 8 days before his son won Super Bowl 58 against the Niners. That night, cops pulled Mahomes Sr. over for a routine stop in Tyler, Texas, around 8:30 in the evening. Officers spotted an open beer right there in the center console. His tags had been expired since September of 2022, and his blood test came back at 0.23, almost triple the legal limit of 0.08. In Texas, blowing a .08 is the legal limit, and he smashed right past it. This wasn't his first rodeo either. Facing his third DWI meant a third-degree felony and a terrifying possibility of 10 years in a cell. After getting processed at the Smith County Jail, he dropped $10,000 on bond and walked free that same afternoon. But the timing was a disaster, triggering a media frenzy that completely hijacked the usual Super Bowl hype train. When TMZ finally leaked the body cam footage in October 2024, it revealed a desperate Mahomes Sr. dropping his son's name over and over again. Sitting in cuffs, he begged the officers for a break, visibly panicking about the fallout this mess would bring down on his boy and the Chiefs organization. He admitted to having a few drinks and openly confessed that the whole scene was absolutely mortifying. A grand jury handed down the indictment in April 2024, and just as his trial was about to kick off on August 27th, he cut a deal and pleaded guilty to the felony charge. The sentence came down hard in September. 5 years of probation with heavy oversight, 10 days locked up, community service, required AA meetings, a suspended license, a car breathalyzer, and that infamous SCRAM ankle monitor that would ultimately seal his fate. Patrick Mahomes II handled the scandal with total class during Super Bowl opening night, shutting it down by telling reporters it was a private family issue that would stay within the family, and he made it clear that was the end of the discussion. After the gavel fell, Mahomes Sr. broke his silence, branding the event the most humiliating moment of his life, apologizing for stealing the spotlight during his son's glory days and hoping his failure would serve as a warning about alcohol abuse. Sadly, all those apologies and vows were not enough to keep the chaos at bay. Instead of a comeback story, we are watching a tragedy unfold, featuring bar fights, a heartbroken son, and the looming threat of spending the next 10 years in a prison cell. While the drunk driving charges grab the front page, they are just the main event in a long, troubled saga following his baseball retirement. There are plenty of other dark chapters here. A history of controversies and bad calls reveals a man who has been dancing on the razor's edge of the law for a long time. Every single slip-up just piles more dirt on a reputation that might be too damaged to ever fully clean up. The cracks started showing way back on October 29, 2016, during a heated college matchup between TCU and Texas Tech at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, where authorities slapped Mahomes Sr. with a public intoxication arrest. Back then, Patrick was just a college gunslinger for Texas Tech, not a global icon yet, so the story barely made a ripple outside the local news. Witnesses say a visibly wasted Mahomes Sr. stumbled into the opposing student section, forcing campus police to step in and haul him away. He managed to skate by without any serious jail time or lasting legal scars from that dust-up. But in retrospect, that drunken afternoon was a neon red flag, foreshadowing the felony-level disasters waiting down the road. The family kept a lid on it, and since Patrick was still flying under the national radar, the scandal never really took off. Jump ahead to Super Bowl 59 week in New Orleans, February 2025, and Mahomes Sr. found himself at the center of another bizarre public meltdown. Outside a French Quarter watering hole, he got into a shouting match and shoving contest with John Rocker, yes, the same ex-MLB pitcher infamous for his hateful rants in Sports Illustrated back in 1999. Cameras caught the chaos as they traded shoves and insults, with Mahomes Sr. labeling Rocker a menace to society before onlookers finally pulled them apart. Rumors immediately started swirling that the whole brawl might have been a setup or a publicity stunt, specifically designed to hype up a celebrity boxing match for Barstool Sports' Rough and Rowdy event. Turns out, a match was actually on the table until Patrick's agent and wife, Brittany, stepped in. Dave Portnoy claims they threatened to nuke the relationship if the fight went forward. Mahomes Sr. eventually confessed that parts were theater, but the bad blood between the two men was 100% authentic. Whether it was a shoot or a work, the whole scene looked absolutely awful. Here is a guy on felony probation getting into street fights during his son's Super Bowl week. The habit of sabotaging his son's biggest moments was becoming undeniable. Do not forget the incident in Tyler, Texas, on June 29, 2024, when he got ticketed for driving on an invalid license. This went down right in the window between his February arrest and his sentencing, the exact time any sane person would be walking the straight and narrow. Cops lit him up for ignoring traffic signs, only to find out he was behind the wheel without the legal right to drive. Sure, it was a minor misdemeanor with no booze involved, but it reinforced the image of a man who just cannot follow the rules, even when the whole world is watching and the stakes are sky high. When you stack these slip-ups on top of his drunk driving record, you get a tragic portrait of a man battling personal demons on the public stage for nearly 10 years. And the most heartbreaking casualty of this chaos is the visible strain it puts on the bond between Mahomes Sr. and his superstar son. Their connection is built on sports, deep respect, and a fierce family loyalty that usually withstands even the heaviest pressure. As an 11-year MLB veteran, Sr. spotted his son's gift early on and played a massive role in molding him into one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever step on an NFL field. Naturally, he tried to steer the kid toward the baseball diamond first, following in his own footsteps, but he eventually went all in on Patrick's decision to chase gridiron glory instead. Even after splitting with Patrick's mom, Randy Martin, in 2006, they co-parented like pros. Dad provided the athletic fire, while Mom handled the discipline and structure. Patrick has said time and again that his father gave him the competitive edge he needed to dominate at the pro level. But now, that rock-solid foundation is cracking under the crushing weight of addiction. Just days before Super Bowl 58, right when the spotlight should have been on championship dreams and defensive strategies, a DWI arrest in 2024 flipped the script for Patrick II. Instead of breaking down plays, he was cornered into addressing his dad's legal nightmare during the biggest week of his career. Suddenly, he was fielding questions about private family trauma while the whole sports world watched. When he eventually opened up for that ESPN Chiefs Kingdom docuseries about the 2024 season, he didn't hold back. He admitted it tore him up inside, and honestly, seeing that pain was the only thing that actually reached his dad. That is not a guy brushing off his father's mistakes. That is a son weighed down by heavy baggage that no number of touchdowns or Lombardi trophies can ever fix. Patrick's wife, Brittany, mom to their 3 kids, also spoke up about the fallout. She pointed out that the reality finally clicked for Mahomes Sr. His kids and grandkids were witnessing every move he made. When your daughter-in-law has to go on record saying the grandkids are watching your mugshots on the news, that is a wake-up call sharper than any judge's gavel. To be fair, Sr. seemed to really take that to heart, at least for a minute there. Following that arrest in 2024 and the guilty plea in August, he looked like he was genuinely trying to turn the ship around. The judge threw the book at him with a strict rehab plan, AA meetings, repeat offender classes, life skills training, and that SCRAM device to monitor his alcohol levels 24/7. He didn't just do the bare minimum. He went online to share his journey with the world. Back in August 2024, he hit Instagram to celebrate 6 months sober, admitting the road was rough but worth every step, thanking God and his family while vowing his son would never face that kind of drama because of him again. He put it simply, hadn't touched a drop since day one. At the time, those words carried weight, sounding like a man who finally found his footing after years of slipping up. He was vocal about wanting his story to be a warning, hoping his punishment might wake others up to the nightmare of alcohol abuse. He looked sorry, thoughtful, and ready to change, flipping the script from constant screw-ups to a story of hard-earned redemption. For a few months, it really felt like a happy ending was coming, until a single reading from his ankle monitor on New Year's Day smashed that comeback story to pieces. That 6-month streak had stretched to nearly 18 months before the alleged slip-up occurred. Every vow he made to his son, his grandkids, and the fans suddenly looked shaky, all because of one alcohol ping on the biggest party night of the year. Stuck in Smith County Jail with no bond and a potential 10-year stretch looming, the conversation isn't about rehab anymore. It is about whether the courts will even let him try again, from big league mounds to a prison cell. Before the booking photos, court dates, and ankle bracelets defined his image, Patrick Mahomes Sr. was a legit pro ball player. The guy spent more than 10 years battling in the majors, a righty pitcher with a rubber arm and a serious competitive streak. Straight out of Lindale High in Texas, the Minnesota Twins snatched him up in the 6th round of the 1988 draft, pick 155. By April 12, 1992, a 21-year-old Mahomes was making his debut under the big lights. Across 11 seasons from 92 to 2003, he wore the jersey for 6 different clubs: the Twins, Red Sox, Mets, Rangers, Cubs, and Pirates. He was the ultimate journeyman, bouncing from city to city and clubhouse to clubhouse, always ready to do whatever job the team threw at him. Although he started 63 games, he mostly carved out a niche coming out of the bullpen, shuffling between starting and relieving based on what the roster needed. His stat line shows a grinder: 308 games played with 42 wins and 39 losses. He posted a 5.47 ERA over 709 innings, racking up 452 strikeouts against 392 walks and a 1.5-9 WHIP. You won't see those numbers in Cooperstown, and fans haven't always been nice looking back, often joking about him being one of the wilder pitchers to actually stick around. But those stats prove something real. He survived over a decade in the toughest league on earth, where most drafted kids never even get a cup of coffee in the majors. He really shined with the New York Mets in '99 and 2000, going on an impressive 8-0 run. In 39 relief outings, he showed exactly what he could do when put in the right spot. Even after his last MLB season in 2003, he wasn't ready to hang up the spikes just yet. He kept hurling in the independent leagues, playing until roughly 2009, and even pitching his way into the Sioux Falls Canaries Hall of Fame. Back then, there were no big controversies, no steroid whispers, and 0 suspensions or scandals attached to his name. His baseball days were clean and respectable, even if he wasn't putting up superstar numbers. Fast forward to early February 2026, and the guy who used to command big league mounds is locked up in Smith County Jail, Texas, waiting on a March 9th hearing that could cost him the next 10 years of his life. Before the handcuffs came out, he was busy in 2025 and 2026 hosting a weekly podcast called The Big Mahomes Show. He used that platform to talk pro sports, give the inside scoop on his son's career, and weigh in on the athletic world. You would always see him at Kansas City Chiefs games, cheering loud and proud for the son he helped mold into a legend. But now, instead of catching the game, he is staring at jail walls, waiting for a judge to determine his fate. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes II has built a legacy that stands in heartbreaking contrast to where his father sits today. Snagged 10th overall by the Chiefs in the 2017 draft out of Texas Tech, Mahomes spent his rookie year learning the ropes behind veteran Alex Smith. He grabbed the starter role in 2018 and instantly became the most electric playmaker the league had ever seen. That debut season featured 50 touchdown passes. He also racked up 5,097 yards, snagging his first MVP trophy and serving notice that a new era of quarterback dominance had officially begun. Since then, he has stacked up accolades at a dizzying speed, landing him in the debate with the greatest legends to ever play the game. Mahomes has powered Kansas City to 3 Super Bowl rings, winning Super Bowl 54 in 2020, 57 in 2023, and 58 in 2024. He took home Super Bowl MVP honors every time. In Game 54, he hit 26 of 42 throws for 286 yards and a pair of scores. He was even sharper in Super Bowl 57, connecting on 21 of 27 for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. In Super Bowl 58, he painted a masterpiece with 34 completions on 46 tries for 333 yards and 2 more scores. He is a 2-time league MVP for the 2018 and 2022 campaigns, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, and a 6-time Pro Bowler. He has led the NFL in touchdowns and yards multiple times. By the end of the 2025 season, his career stats topped 35,000 passing yards. He boasts over 267 touchdowns with a 66% completion rate, but the 2025 season delivered a shock Mahomes had never faced. It was a career-halting injury. In Week 15 of 2025 against the LA Chargers, Mahomes went down with a torn ACL and LCL. That left knee injury crushed his season, marking the first major health disaster of his stellar career. He went under the knife for successful surgery soon after. By early February 2026, his rehab is looking great. He has been seen walking solo at events without crutches, braces, or even a limp. This has Chiefs fans breathing easy. He has vowed to be back under center with zero restrictions by Week 1 of the 2026 season. His recovery is reportedly smashing every goal. Off the field, Mahomes has built a family life defined by the stability and warmth he clearly treasures. He married his longtime love, Brittany Mahomes, Nee Matthews, a former pro soccer player and fitness mogul, in March of 2022. The pair met in a Texas high school and have stuck together, weathering the intense glare of NFL fame with incredible grace. They share 3 children now. The family is a social media staple, with Brittany posting relatable mom moments that have charmed millions of followers. The couple also pours their platform into serious charity work through the 15 and the Mahomes Foundation. This foundation is dedicated to lifting up kids through vital health, wellness, and educational programs. The extended family includes Patrick's mom, event planner Randy Martin, and his younger brother, Jackson Mahomes. Jackson has found his own internet fame, though he has also faced his own set of legal headaches and controversies in the past. The clan also features half-siblings like Zoe Mahomes and Graham Walker on his dad's side, and Mia Randall on his mother's side. Patrick is biracial, with a black father and white mother. He has always championed family unity, privacy, and having each other's backs. These are the values he was raised on, and the ones he is building for his own kids. The Mahomes name is royalty in 2 pro sports. It represents 2 generations of elite talent. But right now, that name is being typed onto a jail booking sheet in Tyler, Texas. It sits next to a case number that could mean 10 years in prison. Patrick Mahomes Sr.'s March 9th hearing will decide his fate. It will end in freedom or a cell. For a family used to the highest sporting peaks, this chapter is a devastating low. No number of rings can soften a blow like this. Thanks for watching. That is all for now. For more content like this, click the card on the screen.